Hello and welcome to the first season of Talk Sustainability with Sandeep. I'm your host Sandeep Raghuvanshi, and over the course of this podcast series, we will deep dive into corporate sustainability from an Indian context and investigate more through our conversations with multiple relevant stakeholders. There is estimated 1.3 billion tons of food wasted per year globally. This is about a third of total food produced. In India, it is estimated that around 40% of food is wasted, and almost half of this is after it had reached the end consumers, that is, the grocery stores and kitchens. Have you ever wondered what happens to this huge chunk of food wasted? You are listening to Talk Sustainability with Sandeep. I am your host Sandeep Raghuvanshi, and today we will deep dive into the journey of India's urban food waste through our conversations with someone who has created a successful business from waste processing. We are very excited to have with us today Mr. Vaman Acharya, an MBBS graduate who discontinued his practice of healing humans to pursue his passion to heal Mother Earth. But before we get into the business of organic waste management, let's add some context to our conversation. He is an MBBS graduate but discontinued his practice in mid 1980s to pursue his passion, which was to set up compost manufacturing firm. He founded Sunray Compost in 1996, which focuses on handling non-hazardous waste. He also served as the chairperson of Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. What is most interesting is that when he started with the business of food waste management, this was not a discussion topic, and almost no one other than him was talking about this subject. In his long career, he has taken up many roles and also in public life, but many in social life describe him as garbage man, the one who brought country's attention to this important issue. Mr. Vamanacharya, thank you very much for joining us today. What led you to move from being a doctor to become a garbage man?
I had a small farm of about 12 acres on the outskirts of Bangalore where I was growing mangoes and bananas and some other crops. While going to my farm, I was always watching so many garbage lorries going out of Bangalore and dumping their garbage just outside Bangalore on both sides of the highways. I used to call them as Swagat commands, welcome arches to Bangalore. That was the period when there were no dump site identified near Bangalore, one of the most green and beautiful city. But slowly now things have changed. But still the problem of garbage is not solved. There was also a thinking in my mind that every third lorry that comes to Bangalore is an organic lorry. Either it is coconut or fruits or vegetables or grains. So many things, even mutton, chicken, fish. So many things come to city. And I was wondering, nothing goes out of city to a farm. It only goes just out of Bangalore, gets mixed with very unexpected things. You can't imagine what all goes in the name of garbage outside the city. When I look at this, I felt that we must do some experiments where we take this garbage, try to segregate it, and convert it into an organic manure. If this can be done systematically, we can convert 6 to 7 districts which are adjacent to Bangalore into a beautiful organic districts where soil, water, and pollution of Bangalore, all these three problems are solved at a time. This was my intention when I started.
This sounds compelling. So, once you found your inspiration and discussed it with the municipal bodies, was it easy to get started or did you face any problems?
There were problems initially. Segregation was very difficult. Getting garbage till that also was a bit difficult, but still, Bangalore Municipal Corporation agreed to it. After this, the problem came of vultures, rodents, and so many other insects that enter your farm where this garbage is being dumped. At this stage, it struck me seriously that something has to be done. I saw what is happening all over the world. I saw some of the plants abroad. I saw even at India. Outside, I did not see that very useful things were happening where there was no segregation. Wherever there was segregation, in most of the Western countries, there was segregation. And I have visited some of the plants in Germany. I saw that organic composting or biogas formation, and subsequently getting organic manure. This was on. I felt that this is a very ideal way to dispose our garbage. But still, in India, biogas plants, at that time were not popular and not conducive for investments. So I felt that we will start only with organic manure, segregation and organic manure. The first example I could see in India was Excel Industries from Mumbai, who had put up a beautiful plant near Thana and also at in some places at Gujarat. So I visited these places. I saw what all is happening. There was a unit at Vijayawada also that time. So I saw that some uh, very basic things. I don't call them that it was a very sophisticated, full-fledged activity, but definitely some primary activities where you can learn something and expand it was going on. The man of name of that great man was Kaka Saheb Saraf. He's from Excel Industries, Mumbai. His people visited my plant, and the owner himself and his two sons, who were managing directors and directors, also welcomed me. They were also people of great commitment to soil and also to the nation. I learned a lot of things from them, and I felt that now I am ready to start. In 94, I contacted. 95, I could start a unit just very near to Bangalore. From my house, it's about 10 kilometers, but it is on the outskirt of the city. Just the city limit ends, and my unit is there. I bought from my own pocket, spending from my own pocket, 6 acres of land near Kodigehalli, Machohalli, and I could start a unit there.
Now, today we are very well aware of the massive challenge that India faces with municipal waste. But as you described, this had already started to become a problem when you were getting started. So, what exactly was the garbage management process of major Indian cities at that point of time?
Well, the urban governance bodies were not yet prepared psychologically to treat this, segregate this. They only thought that urban waste has to be dumped. Fortunately for Bangalore, there were many stone quarries deep. They just took the garbage, dumped there, put a little of soil, and forgot it. It was all, this was the story almost on all the roads of Bangalore, where wherever there were old quarries or low lying areas, they will just dump and come back. This was the situation that time. And what was needed was that time getting some land for processing. This nobody thought. They only thought of getting rid of the garbage. Meantime, Karnataka government had started one unit called Karnataka Compost Development Corporation, wherein they will collect the garbage, segregate it, make into organic manure, and selling it. And I was also doing started the same activity. This type of activity Uh, One or two places, even in Maharashtra, in Madhya Pradesh, even in Delhi, had happened. In Delhi, burning garbage and generating power. This experiment also was already done. There was a very big unit taking shape at Lucknow, in Uttar Pradesh. But these things did not work. And as I look at them today, Delhi, Lucknow, and many of the plants, even in Mumbai, and are all closed for different reasons, which we will discuss uh, in coming hour, coming few minutes. Once this concept I took and went to the local bodies, the response was, if you are going to earn, if you feel that this is a profitable venture, first is you don't ask anything from us. They did not stop there only. Few of the councillors here and few of the officers started asking, if you are making profit out of this, if you every time you come to us you say that garbage is a resource, don't waste it, then if this is a resource, we should also get the benefit of this resource. This is what the municipalities came out with, which was very difficult because I had calculated that making our organic manure or recovering some resources out of garbage was very borderline business. It was more of a social service and less of a business at that time. Now it's fairly a good business for me. I don't say no. But that time, especially urban city based, only from municipal corporations was a very, very borderline profit venture. Very borderline. The profits were quite less. So I wanted to convince them that basically you give the garbage and give me at least little tipping fee. They were not prepared. They wanted money from us. So this went on dragging for some time, but still I started seeing at the real ground reality, how much really I save and how much really I don't. Slowly this progressed, and after this, I found that only working with municipalities and municipal solid waste will not get me money. I have to work with some industries who have problem in disposing of their organic waste and some inert waste, which can be mixed, composted, made into a good manure. Many of the food industries have a lot of not only food waste, of even ready-made, semi-finished goods with them, which have to be converted into some useful product. Otherwise, throwing them to the drains or just treating them either in their STPs or in their ATP, ETPs, this will increase their cost without giving any income to them. And that used to cost them a lot. And I went on contacting many industries, and fortunately for me, many of the industries, including Biocon or many of the food industries here in Bangalore, who have a lot of organic waste to be disposed, came ahead and we started charging them a tipping fee of that time 3 rupees 50 paisa per kg. That is about 3,500 rupees per ton. This made my unit viable. Treating only municipal waste, making organic manure and selling it will not make it a profitable venture. I could make it profitable by combining the problems of organic industries along with urban municipal solid waste. We started handling both and we found that you get a good product, good organic manure with lot of carbon, nitrogen, and other fibrous material that are needed to the earth, along with sufficient money to run your unit and also make some profits out of it. Then it became an industry for me.
Now, this is very interesting. So, you saw it not as a waste, but as a resource to be transformed into valuable products. But for any industry to operate, the supply of raw materials need to have a certain amount of consistency both in quality and quantity. So while the municipal waste has large volume, not every lot of garbage would be an attractive input resource for you, right? So when you look at the bulk generators of organic waste, which are the hotspots that you look for and you find most attractive input sources for you?
Yeah, food industry is basically the best, and they also pay many of these. Those who extract juice, those who extract pulp, those who clean the grains and make powder. These are the industries which generate a lot of organic waste, and they can afford to pay because they have some value addition in their end product. They can afford to pay. But many a times what happens, you need some amount of garbage like material also. So this is the material which has live bacteria. These live bacteria and fungi are essential to convert any type of only fibrous material. It is very difficult to convert into organic manure. Then you will have to add additional culture which adds to your cost. Basic vegetable waste and food waste are quite rich in microbes which will help us in converting this into organic manure. We have seen one more thing that is slowly evolving, that fermenting this and making gas, biogas out of food products. This recently, very one or two units have come up in this, and the organic manure that comes out of biogas units is much better because you have taken out carbon part of it. It is rich in nitrogen, and CN ratio is very good. It is concentrated. It is very good for the soil. And on this background, we felt that we should take material mainly from food industries. One more slowly, I found that in many of these industries, especially food industries, the sludge that is generated from food waste industries or some of the organic wastes, even butcheries, fish storage, wherever wash is being done and it goes to STP and STP is being treated, this STP also is a very good addition. We have also seen that there are some industries which generate a lot of carbon waste, sludge, carbon, and other organic wastes, all put together make a bulk here. There are industries which generate in and around Bangalore. This may not be a case everywhere. This cocoa pith, coconut powder that comes, that is powder from the uh, cover, is also a very good source of organic carbon. All these things we started collecting.
But many projects of similar nature failed. You earlier mentioned that there was already an existing project from the Bangalore municipality. So, what was the main difference that made you successful? Was it the understanding of the value of this waste?
We were focused. We were not focused on improving the industry or the earth. Our focus was to make good organic manure, and for that, whatever is needed, we have taken. Don't claim that I am here to change the world or clean everything. I am here to make a good material from a good waste and put it to earth so that you get a good earth. Mine is a specific focused activity, and this I did, and I found that I have been able to reach what I wanted to do.
Now, since you are doing such a great service to the municipality and sharing a lot of their burden, are they nice and helpful to waste processors like you?
Handling municipalities still is a challenging task. It's difficult. Most of the municipalities are either economically or psychologically not prepared to pay for the garbage. They feel that they feel either it is just a waste, take it outside the city, put it somewhere and get rid of, or they feel that if there is value in it, let the people pay and take it. In this situation, getting money out of this was one of the very big challenge. They were not ready to pay, and I cannot run the unit by converting it into organic manure and selling it to farmers. It is just not possible. I don't want to spread this myth that take organic matter, convert into organic manure, at least in India, and sell it to departmental stores or to farmers at a good rate and make money out of it. Because from 1 ton of organic matter, the amount of organic manure ultimately you get is about 10%. About 10%. So, converting 1 ton and getting only less than 1 ton of, converting 10 tons and getting 1 ton of organic manure, economics doesn't pay here unless they pay me something. So tipping fees came into the picture. Some of the big municipal corporations initially had started this idea of giving tipping fees, but now I think it is not working anywhere in India. Tipping fees is not a viable thing for municipal corporations, and they don't pay, most of them. Some may be paying, but I am not aware if somebody is paying tipping fees. And even in getting tipping fees, there are many things in India, right? From the drivers, the lorry owners, the waste management contractors, everywhere there are problems which are very difficult to explain on this chain, because at every step you will have to spend and get that material. And once if you say that you have put up an industry, people start feeling that there must be some profit and we should share it. This is not true. In fact, tipping fees is one of the very important component of making this a viable project.
So, other than tipping, what are your biggest challenges here?
Biggest challenge was tipping fees. Next to this, little lower, was collection. In most of the places, collection systems are in place in last 10-15 years. Other than very small villages where nothing much is happening even today, towns, municipalities, and municipal corporations definitely they do have cleaning and collection system. Only final treatment, how much it is happening, it differs from place to place, area to area. Smaller municipalities still are not bothered. Bigger municipal corporations where the garbage is so huge, for example, places like Bangalore and around 3 to 4 thousand tons of garbage is generated every day, and this huge amount has to be processed. Bangalore has come up with good programs and plans wherein separate collection of organic material waste and transporting and putting it in place, converting it into organic manure or gas in some places. Gas conversion is not happening much in Bangalore. It is all just processing and converting it into organic manure. This is happening.
So, what would be your advice to the policymakers and municipal corporations on how can they assist in more efficient processing of this organic waste by bringing in certain procedures that can make your life more convenient?
So the changes here are number one, municipalities have to be or corporations have to be well equipped financially and infrastructure wise to collect, transport, and send it to specific place. It is not just getting rid of; it should be processed. They also should think that this is a national asset which is very much needed to the soil. If thousands and thousands of lorries of organic matter is coming to city and going nowhere, not getting treated, not becoming a useful product, it's a great loss to the country. Country should invest in processes where you can extract gas. In some cases, you can even make animal feeds. In some cases, you can even extract some of the valuable nutrients from that. And then ultimately, garbage should go for composting. And that organic material, along with whatever nitrogen and minerals are available, should go back to the soil, because only 5 to 6% of the total plant is being used by human beings, and the rest all has to go back to the soil. Then only you will get the crop for next year. This clarity has to be there with industries. It is not only getting rid of your problem, it is getting helping the soil, helping the farmer, helping the atmosphere to get rid of this problem. Don't say that only you get rid of and transport it out. If this happens, then this garbage issue will become a program of pride.
Now, this is a very important point, of course, right? Because unless recycling or reprocessing is viable economically, it cannot be sustainable by itself. Now, given all these challenges, do you see what you do as a business or as a social work?
For me, at least, I am whatever people say that social work and all that. I don't call myself a social worker. I call myself a small entrepreneur, a small businessman, where I want to convert all these into a useful product, reduce the atmospheric problem, and take this valuable material to soil. 1 kg of manure is equivalent to 10 kgs of grains, which solve the problems of millions. So I take it as a mission. I take it as a pleasure. I am proud of my activity because this really has good things. I am not manufacturing liquor. I am not manufacturing some things which are just useless as far as human living is concerned, or even animal beings. So with this approach, if government works and if entrepreneurs work, 100% organic matter should go back to earth in a usable form. If this is the approach, I think all the challenges that we have today, like finance, like transportation, and other problems which we will discuss in next 1 or 2 minutes, or can be solved, handled properly.
I think this is very interesting because you have a resource and it's about who does the conversion. And now your experience clearly shows that if you have a dedicated unit that is making a conversion with every aspect of the value chain thought through, then it is economically sustainable. But I just want to come back to one particular point that I wanted to get clarity from you is that you when we talk about the packaged food generators, you specifically highlight that you ensure that there is no traceability back to the original manufacturer. Why is this point so important for them?
Yes, it is very important. Uh, there are many food industries who make chocolates, biscuits, bread, dried fruits, and such many things. And especially being a food product, after their due date, expiry date, they send it to us for processing. If there is a leakage, whether it is at transport level or at our handling level, if this material goes back to the market again, it is traced back. There are problems to the manufacturer of his image, of his brand name, and legal aspects. Not only that, such material, I know if the date is barred by 10 days, 15 days, or 20 days, nothing will happen. This is known. But still, as the law says, materials after expiry date should not be used for human consumption. What we do is, when such material comes to waste management units, we take out the cover, we completely make powder, destroy it in such a way that it won't enter into the secondary market at any cost. Otherwise, people will not believe waste handlers. In the past, it used to happen that they just dispose it off for contractors. Contractors will resend it to the market for human consumption. I have one thing here to be added, that such food wastes, our government, our industries, our social thinkers have to rethink on this issue. You must have seen that many of the chocolates and biscuits go to incineration or burning just to protect their image, protect their brand name. But the animal feed market in India, which is huge, which is supposedly not as sensitive as human consumption for health and other values, if it can go to animal feed industry also, I still advocate, because we have seen that at home also what is being fed to animals is almost always 2 days, 3 days old material along with some spoiled material. Such things are fed to animals, and animals have developed sufficient resistance to such food. If there are expiry date food items, I still feel, though I don't do because industries are insisting that it should not go back to any of these secondary markets also. We are completely destroying it. But what happens is, secondary market where animal feed is an important thing. If you can get sufficient feeds to the animal, especially milking animal, the food that is prepared at such a cost, such an effort, will not go completely out of this chain, food chain, sir, that is working. So I have always felt that if some rules and restrictions can be made, wherein the date bar foods can be first removed, brand completely destroyed, and only the food material made into small pieces and mixed will make a very good animal feed, which will be in the food cycle itself. It won't go out of it. In a country like India, where livelihood is a problem, food is an issue, in such countries, we should not blindly follow the rules that have been done by very highly developed countries. They are still developing. We should have a rational approach towards what we do out of such food waste. This was my approach.
I think this is very important because what you touch upon also is that so much has happened in growing the food, in processing, refining, and mixing, that you have a final product which has a lot of values in store in it, right? I mean, we are talking about complex carbohydrates, we are talking about a lot of nutrients which are out there. Converting them back into soil should be the last resort. There should be
Exactly.
some sort of a biorefinery model whereby we should be able to extract the high value items first, which could probably go back into human consumption in various forms. It doesn't necessarily have to be eaten in the same form, but it could become one of the ingredient which could be probably of higher economics, higher value, which if it flows down that way, the cost of the resource that will be available to convert into soil probably would come down further, right? So how do you see those different products other than compost and animal feed as a possible output scenario in Indian context?
Few products I have already tried. This is only an indication. Now, many of the citrus fruits have very high nutraceutical values. Nutraceutical value is important in food. It is not just the nutrition, but many other things which are required by the human body are available. Go to any fruit juice shop, buckets and buckets of citrus fruits or peels are just thrown away afresh without any secondary use. There is a possibility of extracting nutraceuticals, minerals, vitamins from such waste products, and which have very high nutritional values other than just making it an organic manure. So this should be tried. This is possible. Say there are some date bar oil seeds. They can still be used, extracted, and this such type of oils can be used for either biodiesel or paint manufacturing. Such many lines are there which we have tried and found that they are useful. So nutraceuticals, different types of oils, carbons, all these are useful products in a society like ours. I don't know what is happening for such products in developed countries like Germany, USA, other countries. But in India, there is a carving, there is a people, there is a car place for such things. People want it. I think we should sincerely make efforts, and government should encourage instead of putting laws where you don't allow such things to come back for any use. They should stop because waste is a not just a resource to the soil. It is a resource for other living beings other than human beings and animals, for other industries. All such avenues have to be thought before, as you rightly said, before finally putting it to soil. Soil is our mother earth. It has lot of tolerance. It takes many things and gives back good things. But in between also in this chain, there are many who are waiting for something to get out of this so-called waste.
We are in conversation with Mr. Vaman Acharya, the man who not only brought attention to the garbage management problem of Indian cities, but also demonstrated that it is possible to solve the problem if one is serious about this subject. He is a repository of vast knowledge on this subject. We will continue this conversation with him in second part of this two-part interview. If you are someone who has useful information on this subject or have success stories that you would like to share, please reach out to me. We need to build a community from all walks of life across the value chain to do our little bit in solving this problem. There are many things that divide us, but planet Earth unites us. Stay tuned for more content on sustainability. Take care and stay safe.